I got a special guest here on From the Press Box to Press Row, and I tell you what, this young lady is doing a lot of big things. As a matter of fact, of course, her new album, The Electric Lady, comes out on September 10th, as we are joined by the one and only Janelle Monáe. Janelle, welcome to From the Press Box to Press Row.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start here, Janelle, because you've been doing a lot, I'll say in the last 3 years or so, but this journey for you has started probably, back since you were 17, 18 years old, but it seems to be kind of gaining a lot of momentum, and I don't think a lot of people know how hard and how much work you've put into this going back some 10, 11, 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas, and pretty much all my adolescent years I've been a performer and performed on stage and, deeply into the arts. I was a young playwright, I wrote plays, and all this, led me to New York and Atlanta, which is my second home. And that's where I started and began my independent career as an artist. I lived in a boarding house with about 6 other girls in the 80s, Central, Spelman, Morehouse, Clark, Atlanta, all those great historical colleges, and I would sell my independent work out of my boarding house for like $5.
Wow.
And that's how I kind of got my name. I never traveled for a really long time out of Atlanta because nobody really knew about me. I was very famous in the college circuit, but it wasn't until Big Boy put me on his compilation CD with song Over My Justice. I hadn't met Pussy yet, and also helped get my career to where it is. But he saw me in Justice and was really inspired. So wanted us to be a part of what he was doing at Purple Ribbon. And so I released my first song, Letting Go, which was about me being fired from Office Depot. I was working during that time.
Really?
So yeah, my story is pretty interesting because I met people came at the right time in my life, and so Big Boy introduced me to Puffy, who said, "Hey, I don't want to be involved creatively with what you guys are doing. I just want people to know about you." So he helped me release some of the independent work I had already released. He helped me partner with Magic Records to release the Archangel and all the stuff you've heard this far. And so Big Boy and Puff are executive producers, co-executive producers on the Electric Lady as well.
And I want to talk a lot more about Electric Lady. You had an album that came out in 2003, right? That's, my understanding is very, very rare.
Yeah, The Audition.
So, I mean, I know that was your first work, so I mean, I know that you put all into it, and I mean, you had to feel pretty, I mean, my understanding is you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, unless you lived in the 80s or you had a friend, you knew a friend who was part of that college circuit. It was really just in my room, and I would just sell it hand to hand.
But you have a copy, right?
I do. I actually have some. I don't know where they are. I think they're in really secure place.
Now, recently you did the cover of Vibe with Robin Thicke. How was that?
That was awesome. I like Robin Thicke. I'm proud of him. I think he deserves the success. He's been in the industry for a long time, and I think this is like his first #1 in terms of how he told me. He was fun. I'm honored that it was with Vibe magazine because Vibe actually supported me during that time that I was transitioning from selling CDs out of my boarding house to being part of what Outkast was doing in Atlanta. And they did a write-up on me. And it was really, really cool. And I was excited. My family was excited to see me in Vibe. Not a lot of people knew about me. I had really gone outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So for them to pull up and expose independent artists and coming artists from the underground meant a lot. I think it's so important. So.
Your performance on the BET Awards was phenomenal. It was so great. Yes, absolutely. Now, what was the vibe like, and do you get nervous before performances?
I get anxiety, like I'm ready to, let's go, let's get it over, I'm ready to get on stage. Once I'm on stage, I'm totally fine, I'm in the zone. But of course, I'm feeling nervous, but more anxious than nervous, just like, come on, let's do this, Yeah. It was great. I love BET. It was such an honor to close out the show, especially to do it with Erica Badu. It's like a sister to me. I like sharing experiences with people that I love. respect. And so for us to have that moment on BET was a big deal for both of us.
Sure, you got a couple of hot videos. Want to start with Queen, featuring Erykah Badu. Great video, very eccentric. Talk about it.
You think it's eccentric? Yeah. It's just an idea. Mm-hmm. You know, ideas. I think we're into big ideas. I always come from a very cinematic approach, just from my background, being inspired by science fiction, being inspired by watching Star Trek and watching the Twilight Zone with my grandmother growing up. I've always loved science fiction. I've always been intrigued, and so science fiction is a heavy tool in my work, and it will continue to be because I think it will shape the future. We don't know so many possibilities in that genre, and so we wanted to create something that was very cinematic. I've coined the term motion picture because it deals with music. The music taps into the emotion, and then you have the visual. So we had a great time.
Janelle Monáe joins us here from the Press Box to press for her new album, The Electric Lady, is due out September the 10th. I know you're super excited about that. I want to talk more about it because let's talk about that because you not only Erykah Badu, Big Boy, Prince, you've worked with a lot of people on this album, a lot of people that you really respect in the industry.
Absolutely. And Erykah, Big Boy, and CeeLo Green is also a part of it. The Target Edition, they partnered with me. I'm going to release 4 bonus tracks with them. And I also get the opportunity, I've been wanting to do this for a very, very long time, to release a double disc. So they'll get the Target, it will be 2 separate discs. But I got the opportunity to work with Miguel as well, who is a phenomenal artist. This one on the spot, and brilliant. And I got the opportunity to work with Solange, who's a friend of mine. She's helping me on some background vocals for the Electric Lady. And, you know, you mentioned him earlier, but I got a chance to produce for and work with my music video Prince. So it's going to be a special roster. All these artists were handpicked, very unique. They're outliers. They're doing something that kind of goes against the norm of being an artist in the industry, coming from a very unique perspective and not compromising or conforming to being famous, but rather doing it for the love of music and doing it.
Dance Apocalyptic. Had a chance to see that video, as a matter of fact, last night. And I mean, it's another awesome video. The concept behind that.
The concept behind the song Dance Apocalyptic is a really rebellious song. It is speaking out against a lot of, well, first I want to be really funny. I was inspired by both of them. With this album in general, I want to say that my goal was to do something even rooted in R&B music. And I wanted to kind of do music history because one would listen to that song and I heard it one time and I was like, I'm really glad that I'm doing this album. I think it's an important album because a lot of people don't know about black music and how diverse it is and how so many black artists have paved the way. So Bo Diddley was a huge influence on Dance Apocalyptic. And Bo Diddley was a black man from America. He inspired the Rolling Stones, he inspired the Beatles, he inspired Little Richard, he inspired Elvis Presley. I mean, he inspired everybody. And that is blues. That is R&B soul. That is at its finest. And so I just wanted to create this album that did not play into the marginalization of R&B music, yet explored its diverse palette. You know, so I would say Dance Apocalyptic marks something very important. And I wanted to make sure that the lyrics touched on the apocalypse, meaning if the world were to end tomorrow, how would we go out? You know, what, and why won't we live as though, because it's so true, why won't we live as though tomorrow will be?
You know, and that's very deep because you mentioned Esperanza Spalding, and so when I'm looking at the listing for the album, one of the songs I noticed Dorothy Daniels, and so you're talking about, you know, black music and the history. You know, Dorothy Daniels obviously very important. What's this song?
Well, I can't get too much away.
Okay.
But
all
just
right.
know that this album, Dorothy Daniels is an electric lady. Definitely, I consider her to be. She, was one of the original electric ladies because she opened up so many doors for young black kids and black women all around. And her story was very tragic, but I like to talk about the positive side of what she's done. I mean, not only was she physically just gorgeous and amazing, but, you know, what she was able to do was remain classy, remain very strong in the era where not again, women, and especially black women, were being extra marginalized. We were told no, we were told, you know, we can't do certain things and we need the opportunities. And so there's a disconnect, I think, with this community, or not community, this era, that they don't remember that. And so I have to make sure that because I'm fairly young, I have to go back and read these history, I have to go back and research history and who did what and how they treated us back then, and just making sure that I'm in touch with that and everything has perspective. And when I make a decision musically for the community, that I am again using my opportunities to go very far, because not a lot of people have these opportunities, and not a lot of people survive the segregation era.
Sure. Now you're a spokeswoman for Cover Girl. Congratulations. And that's been what, 3 years now, or is that? No, two years, something like that. So, what about? I mean, that's got to be super exciting.
It is. It is. It's a blessing. My family is very proud, of course, which is what I always try to do with them. I mean, I never would have thought of being a Kansas girl like myself. Honestly, totally honest. And mainly because when I was looking through magazines, just like most girls, when I'm trying to figure myself out, how I'm going to dress, or if I'm going to be into makeup. And Cover Girl was my first makeup. Actually, you can go to any store and you can get it. And I didn't see myself. I didn't see people who look like me in their ads. And what I love about them is that they're changing that. You know, I'm sitting alongside so many amazing women, from Pink to Ellen DeGeneres to Queen Latifah. You know, they are, Sophia. She is just amazing too. And so I think it's so important, the message that they were sending, that we're all Cover Girls. And they're showing diversity in being Cover Girl. They're showing bold women, they're showing strong women, and they're making sure that we're just remaining individual to continue to inspire this next generation of young girls to just love themselves and to be unique and remain unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable.
I heard that. Now, I want to go back to something quickly, because you mentioned when you first started out being in Atlanta and so forth, around Clark and Spelman. Now, were you attending one of, or you just were kind of living in that area?
Just living in that area. Yeah. At that point, I couldn't really afford to live, anywhere else in Atlanta. And so living with the girls, I was going to college. I was going to a community college, but I felt that everybody thought, that was the myth. She go to Stanford, she go to college, she go to North, and nobody knew because I lived there. I was very much so known. I was performing at all the different halls. I was doing dorm lounge tours. I was performing the library steps. I mean, I just loved seeing the reaction, and I wanted to understand what my peer group thought of me. I wanted to know, is this music important? Because I was doing a musical theater prior, so I wasn't writing my songs. So to write a song and we'll test it out was so much fun to me. It was like I was this mad scientist writing this music, and nobody knew who I was. So, I didn't care what they thought. I wasn't so nervous or afraid. And that's how I cultivated my career.
And then lastly, Janelle, we appreciate the time. What's next for you? I mean, it would just seem like the natural progression. I mean, with your music, obviously, it's dynamite.
Thank you.
Would be acting.
Oh, really? Well, thank you. I mean, I will say that it's in my blood to to just create. And I think that acting, whether you're rapping or singing, painting, all of it is communication to people and to inspire. And so I hope that I can do a role that is inspiring, just as inspiring as I create my music.
I did say lastly, sports interest in it? You live in Atlanta?
You know what? I play basketball.
Do you?
I do. I'm a shooter though. I'm not like.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I just like shooting it, making it inside the goal. I do. I love it. I didn't always.
Well, you're from Kansas.
Yeah,
that's where basketball originated.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm still, I love Michael Jordan. And since he's left, I'm sorry. Things have not been the same. But there are some amazing players. You got LeBron.
Sure.
LeBron in Miami. Just amazing. I love billiards. I love pool. I enjoy I'm a Sagittarius, so I love when I see archers, the Olympics going on. It was really great to watch that.
The Electric Lady, the album is due out September 10th. Go pick it up, and so now Target, you can get the double CD
Yeah,
at Target.
you get the double disc. It's an exclusive cover, and features Big Boy and features CeeLo Green, and it is just a double disc, and it's a collector's album.
Janelle Monáe joins us here on From the Press Box to Press Row. Janelle, I appreciate the time. Continued success in all you do.
Thank you so much. God bless you.